Hello and welcome to our latest episode of Asia Pacific Conversations, an APF Canada podcast series on issues and ideas in Asia that impact Canada and Canadians. I'm Mike Roberts, APF Canada's Communications Director. In today's episode, Colonel Chung Wong, who has served with the Canadian Armed Forces for more than 25 years, joins APF Canada's Vice President Research and Strategy, Veena Najibullah, for a discussion on diversity in the Canadian military and Wong's own experiences as a Canadian of Chinese descent who has excelled in leadership roles during his rise through the ranks of the Canadian Armed Forces. A special Asian Heritage Month episode, Colonel Wong looks back on his early career as a radio operator in Montreal, his 3 subsequent international deployments in Afghanistan, Haiti, and Mali, and finally his appointments as the 25 Commandant of the Canadian Forces Leadership and Recruitment School, and then as the Director of Aerospace Equipment Program Management. Please enjoy this Asia-Pacific conversation with Colonel Chung Wong.
Colonel Chung Wong, welcome to the Asia-Pacific Conversations. Thank you so much for making time for this conversation today.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity as well.
Why don't we start with what motivated you to join Canadian Armed Forces about 25 years ago and how that motivation has evolved for you?
Yeah, maybe I should start with give you a little bit of my background. So my journey began in Hong Kong, where I was born. At the age of 9, my family immigrated to Montreal. So yes, French is my first language, English is my second, and my mother tongue is Cantonese. So when I grew up, I aspired to become a police officer. When I saw the police officer in Montreal, they're all twice of my size, I realized that no, maybe physically I'm not strong enough. So I changed my mind. And I think grade 9, there's a career day at school. I discovered the Royal Military College. So the recruiters at the time convinced me to join as officer cadet. And the reason at that time I was free post-secondary education, job security, leadership, career progression opportunities. Those are my reason at first why I joined. And as evolved in the Canadian Armed Forces, that motivation changed. It becomes more sense of duties and service, but also is about how I can give back to the country that welcomed me years ago. Today, I think my motivation, other than the sense of duties and service, is more the motivation of training the next generation of leaders.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting arc, Colonel, beginning with sort of job security and a sense of adventure, then going into this deep sense of duty and giving back to the community that welcomes you, and now transitioning to kind of training the next generation and leadership. And what were some of the defining moments in your career? If you look back, sort of what were some of the things that really stood out for you?
I think there are three things. First one is my time spent at the Royal Military College when I was officer cadet. In there, I learned the foundational principle of leadership, discipline, teamwork. I spent 5 years in the training system before becoming a aerospace engineer. Second is the deployment that I participated during my career. I went to Afghanistan back in 2009, 2013, Mali in 2018. Those experiences taught me the importance of meticulous planning, adaptability, and the critical role of teamwork in achieving mission success. So, and also leading a dedicated team in such a high pressure. A third one I can probably tell you is my time working at the Canadian Forces Leadership and Recruit School in different roles as instructors, staff officers, or most recently as a commandant. And this role allowed me to mentor, train new recruits, and instill in them the CAF values. How every week I saw new recruits completing their basic training, passing out at the Paris Square. Is very something unique in my career, and not all the military has had that chance to do it.
You said you were the commandant of the Canadian Forces Leadership and Recruit School. Most of our audience would be familiar with the fact that recently Canadian Forces, similar to most militaries around the world, are having recruitment challenges.
Yeah.
There's a lot of vacancies. People are not coming in to join the armed forces. So maybe if you could speak a little bit to kind of what that school was, what was your role, and what changes you implemented maybe to recruit more people and to retain more talented people in the armed forces?
Sure, yeah. So the Canadian Forces Leadership Recruit School is located in Quebec, Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu. It's a school where we provide basic military training to all new members who wants to join, from non-commissioned members, but also officers. So I was posted there 3 different times during my career as an instructor, as a staff officer, and recently as a commandant. And the changes that I made while I was there, one of the biggest change is the review of the whole basic military qualifications for non-commissioned members and officers, focusing on professional conduct, physical conditions, resilience, and military skills. Secondly, then another change that we made when I was there is to prepare to welcome the increased number of recruits. As you mentioned, we have a shortage of military, not just in Canada, but also in most of allies. One of the things what we did is the creation of a new training detachment in CFB Borden. Another thing that is important to point out is to ensure we have qualified instructors and staff in place to train the additional recruits. So those are the challenges when I was commandant of school.
Yeah, Colonel, we're having this conversation during Asian Heritage Month, and there has been an increased attention paid, certainly in the armed forces and elsewhere, on recruiting Canadians of diverse backgrounds, certainly also Asian Canadians, to represent the diversity of our country. What do you think could be done to bring in more diversity into the new recruits, but also into the culture of the armed forces?
I believe it's vital for Canadians from diverse backgrounds to serve in the military for several reasons. Firstly, diversity strengthens our forces by bringing a wide range of perspectives, experience, and skills. And this diversity enhances our ability to understand and operate in various cultural contexts. Growing up in Hong Kong and immigrating to Canada at a young age, I have experienced the challenges and opportunities that come with adapting to new culture. This has instilled in me a deep appreciation for the values of empathy, resilience, and adaptability, qualities that are essential in the military. And Canadians from a diverse background bring unique perspectives that can lead to innovative solutions and approaches to problem solving, and they contribute to a more inclusive and cohesive team environment.
Are there specific initiatives that either you or others have been putting in place to attract more Canadians of diverse backgrounds, particularly Asian Canadians? What are some of the challenges in that way, and how can we do more? Essentially, what would help to bring in more diversity?
Yes, there's a few initiatives aimed to enhancing inclusivity and diversity. I think one key approach is to enhance outreach and engagement within Canadian Asian communities. It's important to have these kind of conversations. Celebrating Asian Heritage Month and recognizing the historical and ongoing contribution of Asian Canadian to the armed forces. Effective leaders engage with diverse communities, build trust, and demonstrate a commitment to inclusivity. I think which is essential for attracting and retaining a diverse workforce. Each CAF member has the responsibilities, and we are all our own ambassador to recruit new members. Leadership needs to be more engaged with committees, but I think everyone in the CAF should do the same thing.
That personal connection absolutely makes a difference. Could you give us a sense, Colonel, whether you're seeing more engagement or less engagement?
If I compare 25 years ago when I joined to now, I can see there's more and more recruits from various backgrounds, from different communities. Even between my time as a captain working at CFRS back in 2010 and when I went back as a commandant in 2022, I already see a big difference in terms of the numbers of recruits that we got from various communities across the country.
Sometimes, Colonel, I hear from communities who say that the experience that people may have had in their home countries with the armed forces may not be the same, or their understanding of kind of the role of law enforcement or the military is not the same. Do you find that kind of cultural difference and the need to build trust and community relations being slightly different in those communities?
Yes, I think in general speaking, it was difficult to convince my parents to let me join the forces at first. So one of the barrier, like when we talk about joining, is our own barriers within first the family and the communities, because those generations have experienced different things. But what they don't know is CAF is different than the other countries' forces. What is important, I think, is to continuously educate or provide proper information to our communities leaders on what is Canadian Armed Forces about. We promote inclusivities, diversities, and we need everyone. Every Canadian has their place in the Canadian Forces.
Have you seen any difference or any change in your own family, your own parents, now that you've spent 25 years in the forces?
I think at first they were skeptical for me joining, and one of the things that they always said, they will not accept you. They're afraid of me being bullied. For me, during my 25 years of career in the CAF, I only have positive experience. But I acknowledge we still have work to do, like more work to remove those barriers for all the for the CAF. Since I joined, my family have changed their view, and I think it's all positive.
Maybe if we could speak a little bit, Colonel, to the general changes of the Canadian military, given the changes in the world, how you see the forces changing because of technology, because of AI, because of the changing global dynamics. Sort of, if you were, I'm sure recruiting someone today is very different from recruiting them 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. How your methods have changed in view of the changing dynamics around the world.
Yeah, as the world is changing rapidly, the CAF needs to be more agile and adapt quickly to those changes by using more advanced technology. You just mentioned AI is something that we need to the young generation. I think they're smarter than I was used, like when I was younger. So they know how to adapt those new technology quickly than we did. We need to adapt more quickly and have the training curriculum change fast enough to incorporate those technologies.
I think people are feeling that maybe with this new set of disruptive technologies, that everything in the world is going to change much more fundamentally, the way we work, the way we live, we socialize. Do you think that's also true about how wars of the future will be fought, and therefore what soldiers of tomorrow should be like and should be trained all the time? Like generation, basically, they're going through the most disruptive changes. Do you feel that way, or do you feel like we are on the cusp of something completely new?
I think, technology is important, is a tools for us to get advantage in the war space. But don't forget, military is also about people. So, and it won't change. We need to have the right people to fight a war. It's important to invest in our people. I don't think it will change a lot. For sure, technology has a big impact on how we fight, but nothing will go without people. And this is why it's important to keep investing in our soldiers.
Absolutely. I think that's reassuring to hear. You mentioned, Colonel, that now you're in that phase of your career, sort of, that you're focused on training, leadership, and sharing as much as you can with the next generation. Maybe if we could end the conversation with you sharing some of the lessons. What are the key messages that you're now giving to the new recruits, your vision, your hope for them and for the Canadian Armed Forces?
I think first, for those who want to join, resilience and determination is important. Military service often involve facing significant challenges and adversity. So developing resilience and determination is crucial for overcoming obstacles and achieving mission success. Second one is adaptability and continuous learning. As you said a few times, like the world is changing. We need to adapt to the new environment quickly and keep learning. After 25 years, I'm still learning new things every day. And lastly, inclusivity and diversity is important. Embracing diversity and fostering an inclusive environment are vital for building a strong and cohesive team. There's only positive benefits by having a inclusive and diverse team.
Of course, mental and physical resilience is important for the armed forces as well. How much physical fitness does one need to join?
There's no physical test at the recruiting, in the recruiting process. So people who want to join, they don't have to pass a test before going to the school. What is important though to remind all who wants to join is they need to be physically fit and mentally fit. If people wants to know how much physical work they need to be prepared, there's a good videos and information on the recruiting site telling them what kind of physical requirement that we expect people to have. And there's also a training package available on the site, recruiting site, to let people know, okay, how they can train and prepare themselves before joining, and that will increase the level of success during the courses.
Do you see physical fitness as a barrier to people of diverse backgrounds joining, or do you feel like that's not an issue?
That's not an issue. When I joined in the forces, physical fitness have never been a barrier to me, and we have to pass the same physical fitness test than any other. Like there's no exemption or for people shorter or bigger. The test is the same for everyone.
And I guess there are different types of roles within the Canadian Armed Forces. Could you speak a little bit to the role that you have now within Canadian Armed Forces?
Now, after my time in Saint Jean at the recruit school, I'm now working back to my engineering world as the director of tactical and aviation and simulations program. So it's a organization mostly focused on engineering and program management of CAF capability. In my portfolio, I'm in charge of tactical aviation and all the simulators.
If you were to go back, Colonel, to yourself 25 years ago when you were a young recruit and joining the Canadian Armed Forces, what would you tell yourself then? Sort of what have you learned now that would be really useful for you to hear as a young recruit that might also be useful to hear to others listening in?
I said that to most of a lot of my recruits when I was coming out. I never regret a moment that I joined the forces. Never, because I only had a good experience. I was fortunate that my parents taught me how to become a good person, how to respect people and be humble. Those are very important things we need to be a good leader. Never regretted any moment, like at one time, for joining the forces. I still recommend all the young people to join.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Colonel, for your service, also for your leadership, and for the example that you're setting for so many young people around the country, and for the encouragement to join, to serve, to be part of Canadian Armed Forces at this important time for our country. It's wonderful to have diversity and great leaders like yourself in the Canadian Armed Forces. Thank you so much again for this conversation.
Thank you for the time and opportunity again. And last, I really want to put emphasis on people who really want to join. Don't be afraid to share that your passion. If you believe this is a good career for you, go for it. Don't let those barriers stop your dream. It's all about communications. Talk to your family. Explain to them what is important, why you want to join, and why is good being a CAF member. So I'm pretty sure that you all can find that find somebody who have joined the forces and get those information online and from those people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to our latest episode of Asia Pacific Conversations with Colonel Chung Wang. Be sure to visit us online at asiapacific.ca to hear more of our podcasts and follow our research and programs across the Indo-Pacific. Until next time, thanks for listening.